Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys had a great lunch session and probably communicated or interacted with a lot of us. What I'll be kind of presenting you today is with the theme that we have looked at. So we had a panel before the lunch also talk about incident management, how AI is kind of helping with incident management, right? So we'll be sticking to that particular theme itself and kind of give you an understanding in more detail how incident management in the age of AI is being handled with our solution, right? So I would want to kind of give you an understanding about the breadcrumbs, right? So we have all heard about the story of trails, and we do also know kids' stories, Hansel and Gretel, where let's say you're dropping breadcrumbs, right? Well, you're going through a particular path, and if you don't know where it will lead to, you are dropping breadcrumbs. You are leaving a trail so that you kind of look back at the trail and understand, okay, I've come through this route, I need to head back through this, right? So that's where we are at. But what if there are a lot of birds through the forest where you're going through, and all the birds are eating your breadcrumbs? So basically, this is what happens when you have a trail that you'd want to trace back, let's say, after a couple of years, right? So the trail vanishes. Now, why the trail vanishes, how it's vanishing, who's the person who's capable enough of handling all of that? So we'll have a look at that, right? So a couple of things why this trail vanishes. First most thing is the people. So people are the heroes within our processes, right? And within banking systems, we have a lot of heroes within the companies as well. So what happens is a very brilliant engineer finds out there's something that's gone wrong. He resolves it. Now he catalogs all of that information. He has all of that information. Now that same engineer is hired by your competition. Now, again, the person's lost, his knowledge is lost, so it's tribal knowledge that's lost. Then the second thing is change of tools. Every now and then we hear a new tool that comes up, a new segment of tools that come up, right? And you try to catch on to that bandwagon. As we are seeing right now, AI is one of the topics. Everyone is behind the AI hype train. So you have multiple tools, the knowledge is split, you don't know which tool to refer to, where to go, how to resolve this. The second thing is documentation rot. Similar to tool changes, the tech stack also gets updated every frequent, right? So you have a lot of documentation that's created. You have hordes of documentation in your SharePoints, Confluence pages, etc. Now, once an incident happens, how do you get to that particular page that was recorded, which has information of what's been done, right? How do you go to that particular page? So that's an issue, right? So that's where the trail vanishes. And if you are looking at it in a bigger picture, there are two concepts over here. A fragile system where you have, let's say, knowledge that lives with people, same incidents that reoccur, but you don't have a trail to understand why it is happening, where are the resources that you have built over the couple of years, and how do you manage that. Then you have the anti-fragile system where the knowledge lives within a system that's live. It's not like you just recorded it, it's updating on itself. It's keeping you posted on what things are happening. And also, let's say the patterns. So one of the key things that most of us want to talk about when it comes to AI is how AI can pick up patterns, right? So are we using those patterns where it is necessary? Are we only looking at tools that say, hey, I can recognize a particular pattern and give you the analysis, but what are you doing with that analysis, right? So we'll have a look at that, understand what is fragile and anti-fragile. Then one of the other things that come into the picture apart from the fragile and anti-fragile is how mature is my organization, right? That's also something that we also would want to understand, right? How mature is my organization? I cannot just get in a Gen AI application in and try to restructure, reform everything. So you cannot get a Gen AI platform to do everything for you. So you have a reactive in nature organization. What it does is basically you have an incident, you go through the incident, you look at what's happening, then you react to find the knowledge, to find the resources to address that particular incident. Then you have a managed set of organizations. What they do is they look at all the monitoring solutions, the system of records, then try to piece things together. You have organized information available, but you're still doing it manually to kind of correlate all of this information, right? Then you have a proactive. Proactive is where I would say the AI helps a lot. This is more of looking at the signals that I spoke about, right? Piecing those signals together, understanding how these signals would help you to get to that particular information and how you will be able to resolve said so incidents, When we are talking about all of this, there's also a tax that you guys are kind of putting on yourself. This is in terms of the money that you're being spent, which does not get reported at most of the times, right? So you have many of your alert signal systems in place, you're paying for that, and not just paying for those tools, but also when something goes wrong, if things are not working in the way that you're working. Let's assume that you have procured a observability platform, and your assumption is that, hey, if an incident is coming right now, it's taking about 6 hours for me to resolve this. Let's say I have an AI predicting engine on my observability, probably I'll reduce that to 30 minutes, right? So you're assuming all of that. But once you predict that, what is the action that you're taking? How are these standard operating procedures in place for these alert signals to capture and perform the activity, right? So that's your alert chaos, then your manual triaging that I spoke about right now, and disconnected context. Basically, you have alerts, you have information, everything is in place. But I, as a user, I don't know which one to select. Selection is a problem. Now I head to my peers. I ask them, hey, can you help me? This is what the incident is. This is what the operating procedure tells me to do, but there is a mismatch in something. Can you help me? Now time is lost, and you're paying money for that. Any system that's down is racking up money. You're losing money over there. Now, just to talk about that particular paradox, you have your incident management, getting back to it. So your traditional systems are like this. You have monitoring, then you have comms that is basically giving you notifications, telling you what's happening. Then you have your asset information, basically your infrastructure layer that's pulling up all the information. Then someone, one of your users or customers drops in an incident telling that, hey, I'm not able to use 𝐁𝐶 functionality, can you help me? Then you have change management come in place. Now, if you see any of these layers that you're looking at, right, all of these are impacted in one way or the other based on what we discussed, right? Either the information is there but not able to be found in a particular manner or within time, and you also have everything scattered across. But where you would want to be very intelligent is to have all of these layers connected to a unified intelligence. That's where pretty much whole of the industry is heading. That's where we are also heading as Freshworks. So if you see, we are connected with all the layers over here. You have monitoring that gives you alert signals. All the correlation is happening over there. Then you have tickets that are your incidents that are pre-recorded. So you have historical information of the incident that were reported previously. So you understand how incidents were resolved. Now you have the asset segment also. Now, assets with real-time sync is very important for you. The reason why I say that is, just have an understanding, you have an incident that has come up, a very big major incident. Now, the monitoring tools have kind of picked up on those signals. You have a ticket that's created. But how many of the members here can say that everyone who's impacted, every owner within that particular business application is notified of it, right? And are your customers notified of it? That something's gone wrong, you're on top of it to resolve it. So that's where asset information comes into picture. That's your CMDB. And likewise with the change also. Once the incident has happened, you recognize that change needs to be done. And how are the change approvals done? Do you know who the people who needs to approve? Are you involving your cybersecurity team for those changes? Are they missed? So all of that comes into picture with a unified intelligence. So usually what happens is, this is how an incident management fails. This is a linear process that you would be looking at. One is you detect, then you assess, basically understand what's happening, then response, resolve, and learn. So at each stages, you are missing out either on communications, you're either missing out on the context. So that's what we would be wanting to kind of plug in over here. And these are just numbers per se, just to give you an industry understanding of what happens when incidents are coming up and what kind of losses that companies do feel. So if you see, about 41% of enterprises lose revenue or the cost that they spend annually, and then you have 280 hours wasted every year. This is again accumulating into how do I resolve it, where are the information pointers for me to look at, right? And also alert flooding. So you have your infrastructure layer putting alerts, you have your application layers putting alerts, then you have your API monitoring, that's something that's new, where API connections are giving you alerts, telling that, hey, I'm not able to get this information. Now, how do you correlate all of those different monitoring solutions into a single segment? So this is what we kind of think that we need to go back to the basics. The basic is your CMDB. CMDB is your system of records, and as you know, banking system or the banking industry is the place where system of records began. So we need to get back to the CMDB, set up a proper system of records where it could look at your observability, connect observability, your ticketing, your cyber security, your IT automations that are there, and also your AI ops. This is where it becomes a bit challenging when you don't have a proper CMDB in place. So every change, as I spoke to you, right, you have a change that's been recorded. It becomes like a Russian roulette. Basically, you're telling, should I do this change? Who are the people that gets impacted? Do I have the information of the people that are getting impacted? Do I have proper approvals, right? So all of that comes into place. Then incidents also kind of cascade unprecedentedly because you don't have the lay of the land. Then your mean time to resolve also stretches because of this. You don't have a proper system in place. Then postmortems are very big surprises when you kind of see, okay, it was a small authentication service that was down, but we kind of lost a lot of face with our customers, a lot of revenue is lost. So that also is one of the things. Now, this is what you would need to have as part of an ideal CMDB setup, right? So you have your inputs coming in. All of these are from your alerting, monitoring solutions. Then you need to clean the data and normalize, look at duplication, not just within a single application, but multiple other monitoring applications also, right? Everything is a living ecosystem. It's not just the infra layer that would cause an alert. That alert can cascade to your application, to your network layer also. So how are you kind of creating or getting an understanding of the duplication of it? Then are you categorizing this properly? Is it a critical alert that's coming? What is a critical and a non-critical alert? Have you categorized it? Is someone categorizing it manually or is it automated right now? And how do you enrich the data? As I told you, a simple infrastructure alert that's coming on one of the servers telling that CPU utilization is high. But why is the CPU utilization high? Is it because of a system that's downstream or upstream that's asking for information? Is there a break in any of the connections, right? Is one of the services within that particular application trying too hard to get that information which is not able to fetch? So that is your enrichment layer. Then you have your proper CMDB that has service maps. And again, you would have heard about service map. We build these service map. You have your network applications. But how many of the service maps are giving you a whole picture from your data center, which location to which room, where the rack is, within the rack, which endpoint, and within the endpoint, which VM, whatever the setup that you have, and within that, what applications are there. So that's where your traceability becomes. And the storage, application dependency mapping, etc. Then you have your dashboards. So this is something that we all know that this is an ideal CMDB to have. But how many of us would kind of understand that this is something that also affects with our incident management, alerting systems, etc., right? So that's where we would want to kind of give you an understanding that we are an AI-driven CMDB. So we do also cover ITSM, IT operation management. We also look at data center, cloud infrastructure management, tying up all of these with your IT asset management. Basically, once you get an incident, you will know for that particular incident, if a system is impacted, what are the physical assets that are tagged to it? Who are the people responsible for it? So all of that comes into picture over here for you. So while doing all of that, we also do automated discovery pretty much like any other platform, but you also get enriched data with our AI. So what it does over here is, it's not just giving you the signals based on the discovery. We are not just giving you what is a MAC ID, what is the IP addresses, which applications are installed. We are also doing the connections. If you look at this particular dashboard, we are also connecting all of those systems for you, which are of similar nature, which are of critical nature. So rather than you building business critical applications, tying them up all together, we are building that up for you through a configuration. So you just set up the application, the CMDB, it does the work for you. No manually kind of creating business application or impact applications as such. And this is the breadth of which we do the discovery of. So pretty much anything in your data centers to your cloud infrastructures, we do a discovery of all of these platforms and even more. Even legacy platforms are something that we do cover. Moving on, just to kind of give you an understanding why CMDB and why we think that CMDB is one of the main reasons is, for incident management is it does all of these activities, kind of taking monitoring into action, correlating those monitoring alerts that we have, then contextualizing that with the discovered information, whatever the information signals that we are getting as a CMDB, since we are the system of records, right? So we try to correlate all of those signals together for you. Then we classify them so that you can take an action specifically on what is important for you, rather than wasting time of pretty much any alert that comes in, right? And notify. So, and this also impacts your service ops with incident management. So major incident management, as I spoke to you about who will be involved, who needs to be alerted, who needs to be on that, let's say, firefighting call at 1 a.m., right? So all of that is in place for you. Then again, intelligent alerting. So am I getting hundreds of alerts from all these tools, or am I getting a contextual-based aware alert, basically telling that the alert has cascaded from infrastructure to my application, and it's also impacting my, let's say, customers who are logging into my application. So do you have a trace of that, right? And on a real time, you have the real-time CMDB also, where we do the auto discovery on cloud, as I mentioned, infrastructure relationship, application dependency mapping, and the configuration of data. So hope you'd visit our booth. We are just outside to your right as soon as you exit. Please come to us and talk to us about this. We have a couple of AI elements also in there where we would be happy to kind of answer those questions and also have a fruitful discussion with you. Thank you.